Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm so excited. We're going to be replacing this top with solar panels. Finally getting the panels on the 6-seater. It's going to be sweet. So we're going to be putting 3 of these Alexis 405 watt solar panels on top of this. That's going to give us 1215 watts of power. This thing's going to be a freaking powerhouse. It'll power everything. To give you an idea how much power that is, this golf cart's got 4 solar panels on it. Each one of these is 135 watt panels, so that gives us 540 watts of power on here. But these panels are actually like 20 years old, so I'm lucky to get 400 watts out of these. So that'll definitely be over double, more like 3 times as much power. And this golf cart right here, when we go camping, you can power the entire campsite. You can power our fridge and our TVs and everything we got going on when we go camping. So the new build is going to be sweet. So the first thing we got to do is pull this top off. We got to undo all these bolts. I got 6 bolts on each side. Get this top off so we can start installing solar panels. Top off, on to the next project. So on this golf cart, the back seat is more comfortable than the front seat. Everyone wants to ride in the back, and the reason why is because this top cushion, see how that lands according to the back cushion? You got lots more room. Look at this front seat. This is ridiculous. See that? Look at that. This needs to go back 3 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off here, and I'm also going to cut it up here, and I'm going to weld it on an angle like this and bring this whole thing back. Unscrew these, slide this back, and that'll give me another 3 inches, I think, back further. Because look at this. I hop up on here. I'm just crammed into this steering wheel. No good. We're trying to make this cart comfortable so we can drive hundreds of miles. My seat back 1 hole back, which is probably close to 3 inches. I'll have to drill here and put my screw in there, but I've just got it held here for now. As you can see, I took a piece of lumber and I ran it through the table saw and made 1 inch by 1 inch, so it's the same exact size as the aluminum that I found. And this way, if I mess up, I don't ruin this aluminum, I just ruin wood. As you can see, here's my first pattern, and it wasn't quite the right angle. This is 22.5 degrees here, and here is a 43-degree angle. So that one was close, but not quite, and this one's perfect. Look at that fit. So now I will cut 2 of these out of aluminum, and I've still got to cut this off at that exact angle right there. Pretty sweet. Here we are working on the seat. As you can see, I've got one side done, all welded up. Pretty sweet. So I like to use this Luma weld rods from Harbor Freight. Works great. MAP gas because it burns a little bit hotter. It's 3 times as much money as propane, but I'm in a hurry. Got to get riding. So here's my pattern. As you can see, there's my piece. Perfect fit. That's the best way to do it. Use a wood pattern before you start cutting your aluminum so you don't waste so much aluminum. But I did run into another snag. As you can see, this is thin wall. This is 1/16 of an inch, which is what this piece is that I had laying around. And so I ended up buying a 1-foot piece off of eBay, 1/8 inch thick, and recutting my pieces out of that because I was worried that would not be strong enough. So that's what the new pieces are. And we're gonna go ahead and I'll show you how to weld this together. So the trick with aluminum, it's gotta be really clean. I've got a stainless steel brush here. They say you can use brass as well to clean your aluminum, but you want to brush that and get that really clean. And the other tricky thing about welding aluminum, so when you weld with steel, you can just tack it and hold it in place and then weld all around it. With aluminum, that doesn't work because the whole thing's got to get hot and the whole thing's liquid. And so you've got to clamp it really well. And so some projects you do are really hard to clamp it and hold it till it cools down. So here I've got a self-tapping screw drilled through here to hold this in place while I heat it and weld it. So now we're going to take some heat. You take this MAP gas and just start heating that thing up. You can see it's getting hot. Thin parts on the aluminum are melting a little bit. See that melting into there? You got to rub it back and forth like this to get that oxidization out from underneath it still. You get a good solid weld. But as you can see, that whole thing is sitting in a puddle of molten aluminum. And that's how you get a good solid weld with aluminum. That'll hold up good. Some of my first ones would just fall right apart. If you don't get that oxidization rubbed out of there, it'll just come right apart. This side here turned out really nice. Look at that. That's beautiful. Real nice. Okay, and now I'll take it from here and put it on there and weld it. Okay, I ground it down. Now, I didn't grind it down all the way smooth because I want it to be strong. So I don't want to grind everything back off. I want to leave a little bit bumpy so it's strong. So now I'm going to paint this and put it on the golf cart. So I got my 1-inch square tubing. I've cut it to length. I've painted it. I've placed it on here. So it's all about preference of where you want it. Looking good. And I decided that I think being straight with the back here would be good. So I put this level on here and I just leveled it straight up. So that'll give us, so it's straight from here. Gives a little bit of a bumper there on the back. Get you good coverage for the back seat. And on this side I measured it. As you can see, I used a piece of tape rather than taking a marker and putting a line on there. I used a piece of tape for my line and clamped that on there. Then on the front, I measured from there to here. I've got 30 3/4. Did that on both sides, so it's all the right size. As you can see on the front, this is going to be so great. I'm so excited. Look at this. So the front's going to stick out. It's going to be about, meet up with the front tires about there. So it's, yeah, I like a little more out front for sure. Now I'm going to grab a solar panel and set it on here. I'm going to see how the headroom is. Okay, the height is good. Check this out. It's got a good, is that good? See, that's good headroom. That'll work just fine. I was wondering if I should put it on top rather than the side, but on the side's better because then I don't have to drill more holes. It'd weaken this aluminum more, turn it into Swiss cheese. So that'll work. Look at that headroom. If I put some bigger tires on here, it's actually going to be taller here too. We're going to put bigger tires. Check the back. Oh yeah, oh, I'm loving it. This is going to be so good. See, look at this club car. This is the same. It's bolted on the side, but see that? My head is right up there. Oh, it's because my seat's taller. I had to put a spacer to fit the lithium battery. That'd be why. Yeah, that's totally comfortable. So this is going to be great. All right, we will drill these. So I'm just marking it, and then I'm going to pull them off to actually drill them. It'll be a lot easier. So just go all the way around, do that. I'm set down here, ready to drill. You can see it's just a little bit of an indent right where we're going to drill. Paint scuffed up a bit. I painted these yesterday. They've dried for 24 hours, but I guess they need a little more time. Time to bolt these on. So I'm going to bolt them actually on the outside now. It's easier to mark them on the inside. Put the bolt this way. And I'm using the bolts that came with the original top. Look at that, just the right size. Okay, so I'm going to put the other one on, tighten them all down. We'll get ready for some solar panels. So when I'm lining up solar panels, I like to use spacers. You can see I've cut this one at 41 inches because that's how far it is from outside edge to outside edge of my aluminum uprights. And then I cut this one to space this, and I actually should have cut it just a little bit longer, but about 1/8 of an inch short of that is what I want there. And that lines it up perfectly. Clamps are definitely your friend. When you're doing this, I like to clamp all over the place, hold everything good and steady. In fact, need another clamp. So this one is dual purpose. It's my spacer for this, but it's also my board to go in here to make sure I don't drill up through my solar panel. Just clamp that in there. Safety for the panel. Safety glasses. Now we're going to do some good old overhead drilling. This, if I had all my measurements so I could drill it all on the sawhorses, would be a lot nicer, but this will work. There we go. So if I didn't have that board in there, I'd have just right up into that panel. So I've got these nice rubber washers, and these are perfect for going in here between to just give you a little bit of a cushion. Well, wouldn't you know it? These have a fat outer rim there, which means I've got to drill it closer to the outside edge. My bad. Let's do that again. There, I turned it into a slotted hole. So I'm not using washers on these because my bolts aren't long enough to put a washer on there with this rubber washer on there. There we go. That's snug. All right, so I want to be pretty close to the outside, right about there. So I want to drill this here, line it up good. So if you're worried about these coming out, you could put some Loctite on these. I find that they don't really come out with that rubber cushioning, kind of cinching them up good. Putting tension on them, they seem to hold just fine. Perfection. Spacers are so much easier than measuring with a measuring tape. Okay, and then we'll put this one in between. Check this other side. Whole thing's got to go a smidge that way. You know how it works. Everything's a hammer. Perfection right there. So this middle spacer is actually working out pretty nice because I can pull this off. I just got to keep this tight to that, like that. Put that on there and drill it. Got to be careful with your spacer. Don't go too far in there. Okay, bolt that up. They just keep on rolling around it. So I'm trying something new with this solar panel install. I've got this expandable joint filler, self-stick. It expands from 1/2 inch to 1/8 of an inch. And we're going to go ahead and put that between the solar panels. This one's 20 feet long, so it's plenty long. I got it at Home Depot. Got it nice and tight right now. Find the end. There it is. So it's only sticky on one side. So I guess I'm just going to peel that back. I'm going to put it right on the very top edge. That is expanding. There, that's ready for another solar panel. All right, I'm going to weigh one of these solar panels to kind of give us an idea how much weight we're putting on top of this golf cart. Wow, 45 pounds. Okay. 135 pounds of solar. Well, we got the panels all on. They look great, all bolted down, snugged down tight. These are the bolts I used. 5/16 inch and a half bolts with nuts. And look at this. They are so good and solid. That is so nice. I'm so excited about that. Eventually I'm going to put a light bar on here. Got to have a light bar. Got the seat all painted up, slid back. Look at that. That's great. Looks so good. With that added support here, that definitely gives it more support. Before I had these put on there, I noticed that when I went like this, it did have a little bounce in the middle, but now it is good and solid. And look at this. So much better. So much more comfortable. That extra 3 inches makes a huge difference. See, I was like this before. That's ridiculous. So good. Can hardly wait to take this thing out on drives. So I'm going to do the wiring of the solar panels in a separate video because it's going to take a little while. We've got some channel we're going to put in here. So that concludes this video. Thanks so much for watching and stay tuned for part 2.